even warning for some time that we seem to be marching towards World War III. Is that still your prediction?
Hell, we're in it already. It's begun. It's not going to become official until there's some major event. And the Ukraine war is going on, and the Middle East war is expanding with the United States. This shows you the hypocrisy, and nobody's calling them out. Biden said that being that Iran supplied the weapons that killed 3 troops on the Jordan-Syrian border, and of course, America has no right to be in Syria. They were supplied by Iran. So basically, Iran is an accessory to the crime. And that Lloyd Austin repeated that, and so did Blinken. Mm-hmm. So that's a reason to attack Iran or whatever they want to do, because they supply the weapons. So Hamas could attack America because America supplies the weapons to Israel to commit the genocide. And Russia could attack Europe, America, and all the other allies that supplied weapons to Ukraine to fight them, using the logic that they're saying. They're attacking Iran because Iran didn't attack them. No, but they supplied the weapons. They were an accessory to the crime. Yeah, but you're supplying the weapons to Israel and Ukraine, so the people that they're fighting against hate us. So it's perfectly legit for them to attack America. Right?
I understand your point, the irony of it. Now, Gerald.
Oh, the hypocrisy, not the irony. It's outright hypocrisy.
Now, for those who might accuse you of being un-American and not patriotic because of what you're saying, how would you answer that?
I'd say, you little jerk, who are you talking to? Grow the hell up. How about looking at the facts? The facts are all there. And it's one after another. Here we go. Let me find the article here. U.S. pins blame for deadly drone strike on Iran-backed militias in the Islamic resistance in Iraq. There you go. And they're blaming Iran. But America could supply all the weapons that they want to kill anybody that they want, and that's just fine. So this is what President Biden said when he was asked by reporters. The question the reporters asked, Mr. President, do you hold Iran responsible for the death of those 3 Americans? Biden: I do hold them responsible because they are supplying the weapons to the people that did it. So what Biden is saying is that you're an accessory to the crime. So what he's saying to us, or to me, is that America is an accessory to the crime, the genocide in Gaza, because we're supplying the weapons. And the slaughter of Russian soldiers, America gives them, Ukraine, the weapons to do it. So according to the president, NATO and America should be attacked by Russia. And again, the U.S. attacked by Hamas. That's the bottom line, or the Biden line, because it's American hypocrisy. Only we and our allies can send weapons to murder anybody that we want. But when somebody else does it, that's a reason for America to attack. Again, not my language. You got that guy, Lloyd Austin, is the defense secretary. How much Iran knew or didn't know, we don't know. But it really doesn't matter, because Iran sponsors these groups. It funds these groups, and in some cases trains these groups. on advanced conventional weapons. So how about we don't really, doesn't matter because the United States sponsors these groups. The United States sponsors the IDF. The United States sponsors the Ukraine military. The United States, quote, funds these groups. And in some cases, using his language, it trains these groups. Oh, yeah, America's training them how to fly the planes. They say, again, Lloyd Austin, we have not service people there, but our intelligence helping them use these weapons because we want to make sure that they don't misfire. So it's okay for America to do this, but America tax. So if anybody questions me, I said, grow the hell up. Why don't you look at the facts? Now you tell me why I'm wrong.
Of course, Gerald, the argument always is that Israel has to defend itself.
Yep. Again, not even talking about that, off the track. I'm saying Hamas has a right to attack America because America's supplying the weapons. Because America has the right to attack Iran because Iran has supplied the weapons. So, as we used to say in the Bronx, payback's a bitch.
I understand what you're saying, but again, this whole thing about Ukraine, Russia is the one that invaded.
Again, none of that makes any difference. That's the America's side of the story.
Yeah.
They have their side of the story. So by the deeds, you shall know them. So if America's saying that Iran is an accessory to the crime for supplying weapons, then Russia could say America's an accessory to the crime for supplying the weapons. That's all. So if I ask you to supply weapons to me so I could kill the guy next door, you're an accessory to the crime.
What upsets me is that we never hear the other side.
I know.
Why Russia made a move on Ukraine after years of Ukraine attacking Russian nationals in that area, and also the moves to expand NATO, and the agreement was between Gorbachev and Reagan that after the fall of the Soviet Union, NATO wouldn't expand an inch further east, and Russia wouldn't expand an inch further west. That held for quite a while until the neocons started breaking that agreement.
Here's your magazine, the Trends Journal from back in 2014. See how happy that guy is? It's the United States overthrow the democratically elected government of Viktor Yanukovych.
Yeah.
Ukraine. Yeah. All the details are there. So again, it's not what the media says or the politicians say. It's what the facts say. And that's what the Trends Journal does. We put in the facts. So we had the facts of what Biden said, the facts of what Lloyd Austin said, the facts of what then Anthony Blinken said, that Iran is responsible because they supplied the weapons. They're accessories basically to the crime. So Russia could say the same thing. And just as the Russian people believe their government, American people believe their government, there you go to war. But the hypocrisy cannot be denied. Whether regardless of what they say, Israel has the right to defend itself. Nobody else does, by the way. They've been saying that BS line for how many years? So that doesn't make any difference. So I'm saying this is outright hypocrisy in front of everybody's eyes.
So, Gerald, where's it all leading?
It's going to escalate. This guy, a weekend, it was one of our top trends for 2023, Middle East meltdown. We warned this was going to happen because of the Netanyahu government that the media called an extreme right wing. Week after week, we're reporting how what they were doing to the Palestinians. Settlements, stealing more land. Isn't that a nice word, settlements?
Yeah.
In violation of the Geneva Convention and Article 242 of the United Nations. We're United Nothings. It's a joke, that thing. Oh, they're the ones that gave Israel, gave that land to the Jewish people, by the way, the United Nations, back in, 47, 48, 47. But going back, it's going to escalate because Netanyahu, people forget, there were 39 weeks of major protests in Israel up until the Hamas attack on October 7th. Because of his Judicial Reform Act that basically said he doesn't have to be brought up on the corruption charges that they're going to bring him up on, and that the courts are gone, the government will take over. And not my language, but the president of Ukraine, of Israel, Isaac Herzog, said during that 39 weeks it was going on, there's a civil war raging in Israel. There was a civil war going on. But now Hamas attacked, everybody forgot that. When all else fails, they take you to war. I've saying it for how many years? And it's right in front of everybody's eyes. So he's just going to keep going. He's a madman. They're all madmen. I mean, who's not? I mean, it's a freak show out there. How could anybody look up to these clowns?
Yeah, and they're already drifting away from the two-state solution that they supposedly endorsed. Netanyahu says he doesn't want a two-state solution. So, I mean, you know, they talk about the Palestinians wanting to reclaim the land, but, you know, Israel is expanding itself and driving the Palestinians out step by step. And now I think, you know, after they get through with Gaza, the Palestinians will not be returning to Gaza. That'll become part of Israel.
Yeah. And they've destroyed the place. They've destroyed over 70% of it. Could you imagine you're living like this? Where's the outrage? Here, again, you said Netanyahu said. How about the gangster said? I mean, who's this guy to say? One person saying, speaking for everybody. And that's every country. You know, Biden says, this one says. And going back to Israel, you know, it's here's your magazine when it was a newsletter, 2006. It's a weekly now, of course. Crusades 2000. Regardless of what England's reasons or intentions were, self-serving or otherwise, Crusades 2000 was set in motion by the 1917 Balfour Declaration that laid the foundation for Israel. Quote, His Majesty's government views with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people, and will use their best endeavors to facilitate the achievement of this objective. Let's back up here. His Majesty's government views with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home. His Majesty, some murderous bastard from The Sun Never Sets on the British Empire, some arrogant member of a gang with all their ribbons on and everything. How do you got to get all this money? Who the hell is he to say what should go on in Palestine? Well, Celente, the sun never sets on the British Empire. You just said it. And he's His Majesty. They could do anything that they want. And goes on to say that they will use their best endeavors to facilitate the achievement of this object. So slaughter the Palestinians, do anything you want. We're putting the Jewish people in there.
Yeah.
Who the hell are they to say this?
No.
And I don't want to hear the story about God gave you the land. Save it with somebody else. What if I don't believe in your God? So take it easy. I don't tell you to believe in mine. Don't tell me to believe in yours. And it all didn't begin when Moses came down with 10 commandments, where they just found a tree. I just read that it's about 250 million years old, an element of a tree and a stone. How many times this world has been destroyed and ruined and we come back and gone? I'm tired of this crap. I just go by the facts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any end to this situation.
No.
You know,
No.
with the slaughter now of civilians in Gaza, it's just going to create another generation of Palestinians who want to get even, and you know, and many people think rightfully so, because They were there, they were displaced, and they're being driven out piece by piece. The settlements in the West Bank, settlements, and they're stealing the land. This has set the stage for the rise of radical elements and terrorists. What did they expect when they started displacing the Palestinians who've been living there?
Yep. Again, suppose somebody came in and killed your mother and father, sisters and brothers, aunts and uncles, destroyed your home. You want to blow their brains out?
Another example I use is, all right, God gave them this land 2,000 years ago. So, the people who are talking about that, as a defense, uh, uh, if an Indian chief came to their door tomorrow morning and said, "Get the hell out of here! I'm going to take your land and the house because this is my tribal land just 200 years ago." How many people would say, "Oh yeah, the Indian justified, and I'm going to leave my house
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yep. No, it's terrible. And again, it's what's going on. This is pure genocide in front of everybody's eyes. And you look up the definition, and that's what it is. And they're going to get rid of them. And again, we write about it in detail, one comment after another from the Israeli government. That they're animals, on and on and on and on, and they want them out of there. Again, there's a whole article sections in this week's Trends Journal about all the quotes that they want to get them out of there, and they're going to quote occupy, stealing land.
Gaza will become another part of Israel." So the
I
continuation.
don't think it's going to happen. I think that Israel is what they're doing now is they're really they put themselves in a very terrible situation. The hatred among it again. I'm not good at numbers, but you know how many Jewish people there are on the planet? 16 million out of 8 billion. And there are nearly 2 billion Muslims. So 2 billion against 18 million, 16 million. They got only 9 million over there in Israel. They're going to lose. They're outnumbered. It's not going to happen in a week or a day, but this is the beginning of the end of Israel. What they're doing, the hatred that has, of course you don't get it in the American or Western media, but around the world it's a very different story. And again, don't call me an anti-Semite or anti-Jewish. I said 3 of my last 4 girlfriends were Jewish. And they're not Semites. The Palestinians are Semites. The people running Israel are Ashkenazi Jews from Eastern Europe, yes, Turkey. And listen to Max Blumenthal or Norman Finkelstein, and they rip Israel apart, and they're Jewish in ways that they really, really know the facts.
Well, of course, Gerald, you know that there are self-hating Jews.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah.
Immediately label that, if a Jew criticizes not not Israel, but the policies of the Israeli
Policies. Yeah.
government, there's a separation there. But of course, they're immediately labeled self-hating Jews, and anything they say is not valid. I mean, it's absurd, and the American media goes along with it.
Yeah. Well, American media, it's owned. We got 5 corporations on over 90% of the media. And look who the heads are. It's when go to Mint Press, and they put a whole list in there, all the money that the American politicians get from the Jewish funds, all these different organizations. So it's a payoff. Morons and imbeciles call it campaign contributions. Adults call it bribes and payoffs.
We can go on and on, Gerald. Before we're taken off the air for being anti-Semitic, we'll wrap up this session. But, I understand the points that you're making, and I hope more people begin to understand what's really going on and not to swallow anything that's handed to them automatically by the American media. Cheerleaders and propagandists are what they've become. And, I've said this over and over again because, I've been in the media all years.
Yeah.
And I could see the progression where the editorializing of what's supposed to be a straight news story is no longer even challenged. It's accepted as a norm. It's encouraged. The social justice warriors, rather than objectivity. What's being taught even in journalism schools now is that it's perfectly acceptable to take a stand and slant a story in the interest of social justice. I mean, it's unbelievable what's going on.
Yep. Again, I call them prostitutes, media whores that get paid to put out by their corporate pimps and the government whoremasters.